Your woody woodpecker's going off out here.
Hello, my name is Riley. You are watching Love DTV.
Hey, 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 you are watching Glow Lady TV, and today is Friday, February the 11th, 2011, and I guess you noticed that the I Ching guy isn't here in the control room, and he's not out fixing his table. That means that the I Ching guy and the I Ching lady aren't here. They went on vacation. So we love you guys, and we will see you in 2 weeks. So if you're calling in for a live I Ching reading, call back in 2 weeks. There's a bunch of stuff that's been going on, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about them before I introduce our guest host and our guest today. And did you know that we have spent over $2 trillion on the war on marijuana? What do you think about that? Could the money have been better spent on education right here in the good old USA? Yep, it's a $142 billion annual cash crop. Does that mean that we're not counting the industrial hemp also? Did you know that the government has a patent on cannabis? Really makes you wonder. It was filed on April 21st in 1999, and it was granted in 2003. Really makes you wonder. And my guest coming up is going to be explaining a little bit more about that. Okay, Egypt. You know how I've been talking about the dawn of the galactic underworld? Where we are really understanding that now. All of those male, dominant, aggressive people doing things that are falling down around us. Yeah, planetary revolution. Are the Arabs next? Or do we have people in the United States who are saying, hey, you know, now that we see that the people really do have the voice, that's what's going to make the difference. Before, when we thought that the government were the ones who were controlling us, it is of the people, for the people, and by the people. And as long as the people come together and stand up, yeah, we do have the ruling power. So never forget, the power of one does have the power to change things. Okay, yes, there's going to be lots of upheaval in Buncombe County. We have a county commission meeting on Tuesday the 15th. And yeah, we talk about that underground, you know. I mean, if you're going to do it, you better own it, because it's going to come back around and bite you. And, you know, wish you well. That's that good energy. You know how it is when people pee you off and, you know, you don't buy into their negative energy. That's when you wish them well. You know, you work with that energy. As it's been said, to turn the other cheek, well, that's what it's meant. You know, you don't slap them back on the other cheek. That's, yeah, you wish them well. Because, you know, they'll get theirs. They will eventually get theirs. It might be a while. Uh-oh, there's that phone of mine again. You guys know what that means. We are now 5 minutes into the program. Okay. Know your worth and do not stoop to another's level. If they want to give you $2 and you know you're worth 10, tell them that they can take it and jam it. And it's usually where the sun don't shine. We still have time for change. Out of tragedy comes love. That's what's going to come. I talk about prophecy a good bit, and a good bit of my prophecy comes to me in dreams. And just last night I had this dream. There's a planetary object that's coming. I have seen it coming near Mars. So whichever direction Mars is, that's the way I have seen it coming in. Predictions of premonitions are dependent upon the information at the time of the interpretation, which means that we do have a chance to change the future if we understand it. People, earth, volcanoes, earthquakes, storms, things are changing. And either we look at it in understanding or we're going to look at it in fear. The choice is ours. You know, how do we want to see it? Make sure that you're self-sufficient. Are you one of those who gets other people to grab a glass of water? Or do you know where to find that water and how to get it for yourself? Government, everywhere, beware. The people do have the power. I'm reading off my list, can you tell? Okay, let me see. Oh, Mubarak. Yeah, this is something I don't quite understand. How Mubarak became a billionaire, and if he became a billionaire because the U.S. has given him how much money over the past 30 years? Yeah, I agree with the Egyptian people. Stand up and demand the money back, because I don't think our government's gonna. Happy birthday, Chet. Chet's gonna be 18 on Sunday. I love you, kid. What do we have here? Do you know that there's a glow lady out there? Glow lady Arish Guerrero from the Philippines. And she was even born on my daughter's birthday, but it was in '92. I thought that was so cool. I like to Google glow lady and see where all I'm at. And her name had come up, and I friended her on Facebook, and that was cool to meet someone who was actually called Glow Lady. I mean, that was her birth name. And Richard Camelot, Time to Love. Some people wonder why I do that, what do you say, community interest, the arts, and I find Richard really intriguing because of what went into behind in his music. And Jeffrey, you have it. You want to go ahead and press play, and then let me know when we are 34. And I am going to let you guys hear some of the rehearsals, because I'm going to be talking more about Richard and the thought in behind the play. Yeah, you have it on play? Yeah. Okay, why am I not getting any sound in the roll-in? I should be getting some sound in the roll-in, but I'm not getting any. Okay.
Oh, wait.
No, that's the record. It's playing. Well, I will just have to figure out why that sound isn't coming in. I had somebody helping me. I had Brian helping me in the control room earlier, trying to set this up. And this is Robert Schulman and Rich Hart Music. And oh, Brian, did you hear me? Do you know where the roll-in is? Am I working the roll-in for the sound? What's the matter with it? It should come right. Yeah, I know the roll-in. I have it up, but it's like it's not coming in. You don't know? Okay. All right, well, we cannot figure out how to get you the sound of it. And this was at a a rehearsal that they're doing. So I'm going to show you a little bit of it, and like I said, until we get there in March, you are going to be seeing clips, bits and pieces, because these are world-class recording artists, or at least their voices are world-class. I don't know for sure how many of them are recording artists, but they are great. And speaking of recording artists, I have somebody in the studio audience that, where'd he go? Oh, he's not in the camera range. Wait a minute, go ahead, just leave him there. What we're gonna do is we are going to get, Jeff, would you go out and, what happened to it? Oh, he undid it? Hey, this is Glow Lady TV, and we are having technical difficulties. It's like, hey, wait a minute, who put that camera or that microphone case on the table? Who left it on there?
Should we get it off the table?
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Dr. Milton Bird. I'm going to let you take it away, Milt.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure being here this afternoon. My friends call me Dr. Milt, and I have with me right now Chris Rodriguez, a young gentleman here that's doing his debut here. His mother and father, Bill and Terry, are here, as well as some friends and family. And we really would like you to enjoy and see this young man perform. He is a bluegrass and folk artist, and I've already listened to this gentleman for about 5 minutes, and he's got skills. So we would like to share that with you and let you see this. And Chris, if you would like to, as soon as our control room is ready to put you on camera, we'll let you take it away, and man, just work it, because I already know you can. And, all right, let's pick it up and go for it.
The song's called Insomnia. Wrote it when I couldn't sleep. I tried to sleep from 2 to 3, but something keeps on waking me. I tried to sleep from 8 to 9, it's like a hurricane in my mind. Tried to sleep from 9 to 10, I try and try and try and try again. I was asleep the night before till someone came and knocked on the door, and the cats got up and bothered me. Got up and had a glass of tea. Tried to sleep the rest of the night, but the sun came out and shined so bright in my eyes. Well, I got up to take a drink and wash my hands in the kitchen sink, and I got a piece of pie and wondered why I still can't go to sleep. Looked around on the moonlit night and thought, geez, it's late. I tried to sleep from 2 to 3, but something keeps on waking me. I tried to sleep from 8 to 9, it's like a hurricane in my mind. Tried to sleep, there ain't no use, I tried. Hey!
That was awesome. That was awesome. I would like to say that was awesome. You got some real skill on that.
Thank you.
What's your next song you're going to work for us, Chris?
It's called Mr. Man.
Say again, Mystery Man?
Mr. Man.
Oh, Mr. Man.
Wrote it about a boss I once had.
Uh-oh. Let's hear that story.
in the face, drug to the ground. And it makes me mad, get talked to like a dog. And it makes me sick, it makes me sick. Now you listen here, if you won't be hung in a tree, you better start being more respectful to my mom and me. I couldn't be more serious, yeah, you don't know me. I may come in the night and take your life. I got something to say, and you better hear it. Now you make me mad, now you're gonna get it. Might not be soon, might not be now. I'm gonna tell you, old man, I'm gonna get you somehow. 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 I don't take too kindly to getting pushed around when I'm doing my absolute best and you're bringing me down. I tried to work hard, as hard as I can, and then you find things to pick on, and that makes me mad. So don't look my way, don't talk to me. I'll do my work, and you leave me be. You leave me be.
All right, I'll go along with that. So did that boss ever leave you alone? We'll kind of leave that.
He left me
slide.
alone.
He did, huh? Okay, well that's good news. Good news. I'll say this again, you've got some skills.
Thank you.
Your friends, I bet they say you sound a little bit like Bob Marley, I bet.
Bob Dylan?
Bob, I stand corrected, Bob Dylan.
I've heard that.
You got a little style in there. I was thinking Bob Marley, but Bob Dylan is really the track of it. You play any of his songs?
No. I didn't. I saw him in concert a few years ago and started listening to him a little bit, but I don't know.
I got a feeling you'll work that in your show sooner or later. Play more.
This song's called Papaw's Shoes. My mom wrote the lyrics about my papaw. My mama came to me one day long after Papaw died. She had some things to give me she thought that I might like. The golden ring he always wore, the coat I knew so well. His shoes were something special now, the kind they just don't sell. Yeah, the kind they just don't sell, my Papaw's shoes. Oh, my Papaw's shoes. When I wear them now, I always sing the blues. All right now. The shoes, they were black wingtips. My papa stood so tall, I never thought I'd wear them or he'd be gone at all. My mama said they're special made for a special man. He was much more than special now, and I know I never can. Yes, I know I never can feel papaw's shoes. My papaw's shoes. When I with him now, I always sing the blues. All right now. When I with him now, I always get the blues. Papaw's shoes. My papaw's shoes. When I with him now, I always sing the blues. All right now, my papaw's shoes. Oh, my papaw's shoes. When I with him now, I always sing the blues. Oh, when I with him now, I always play the blues. All right now. When I with him now, I always sing the blues.
Now you understand why I invited him to come on and be a guest on Glow Lady TV. I was out and about one day and I was told to turn around and go back into the Pines cottages, and I kind of listened to Spirit, and I met Chris and his mom, and we got to talking, and then he was telling me that he plays music, and then he showed me a YouTube. So what is your YouTube that you have out there?
You can find the YouTube videos on www.reverbnation.com.
Okay, yeah, we got to be careful about that commercial stuff. We get in trouble if we say that kind of stuff.
Well, then just search.
Search Chris Rod.
Yeah, and you can find them.
Okay, that would be the best for people to find you. Now, your mom had said that you also have some music with someone else.
Yeah, some bluegrass.
And is that what the DVD or the CD that I have in here?
Yeah, there's one that's bluegrass and one that's my music.
Oh, because I'm going to play a little bit of music in behind, and Milt's going to ask you some more questions.
Alrighty.
So, take it away.
Interesting. Well, tell me how you got going with this, because obviously you've been working that guitar and those strings for quite a while. Most of your life, I'm betting.
Yeah, most of my life I've played, and that's about all I know.
When did you start?
5.
So it's been basically your whole life that you can remember you've been working that thing.
I used to play in metal bands, heavy metal bands, and played a lot of electric guitar, and I just quit doing that and started doing this.
Well, you certainly have a feel and flow for it. The way you were picking and working the strings, you see a lot of people work strings and they handle it for so far and then they go back to, just frets and chords and such. But you really work the strings, fingering it and picking it. I bet you handle guitar and a banjo, don't you?
Play a little banjo.
Because that was excellent work. I've got to say, it really was fun to watch. So where do you want to go with this? Do you want to stay in bluegrass? Do you want to go in folk music? Do you want to be a Bob Dylan?
I'll be whatever I can be, as high as I can go.
Heard that. There's a wise statement for you. Go for it. Make it fly. You want to be me?
Yeah.
You know what? That's a wise. Hardest thing you'll ever do is learn to be yourself. So that's a good place to work it. You've got more songs, and I know they're playing the CD going back there. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with this, and then 10? Because you're going to be maturing a whole lot more. You're only 21, right?
Right.
So you're just opening up this door of adventure for yourself. So you got visions, you got goals to build to that. Talk about them for a minute, because this is your show right now, man.
Well, I'd love to. I do music for TV shows, and I would love to get one on like a primetime good TV show, like as a main theme to draw some money. And I would like to sign to a label and tour, and I would like to have CDs out and play a bunch of shows and have fun.
Well, may this be the beginning of all those doors opening for you, because you certainly have the skills.
Well, thank you. I need some bands out there to let me open up for them, huh?
Do you hear that, guys? You bands out there who need some good, new talent to open up for you, Chris Rodriguez, he's definitely got skills. Reach out to this guy.
Thank you.
Well, I'm also thinking that that new series that we were talking about, if he would be interested in doing some music for the theme, that could be a possibility.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
After the end of the show, maybe we can chat a little bit about that. We'd like a new intro for a show that we're creating. We'll talk more about that in the show. And so you have anybody you jam with on a regular basis? Do you have...
I'm a banjo player.
well, who's this you're playing with on the CD?
This is John Lunsford.
John Lunsford,
He's my uncle.
your uncle. Has he been a...
Yeah, and where has he been? Because he's been around, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been around. Not in a while, but he's sure been around.
Well, who all's he played with?
Oh, Allison Krauss and a lot of local people, a lot of the really good local pickers.
Well, we all know there's some great musicians and talent right here in the Big Asheville area. You looking for anybody else to play with?
Love a stand-up bass player.
A stand-up bass player.
I'd love a dobro player.
Say that again.
A dobro.
A dobro player.
Or a resonator.
A resonator.
Or yeah, that's what.
How about percussion?
I like a drummer for certain songs.
Well, I tell you what, go to the Asheville Drum Circle. They got drummers there at all kinds, and you might find the one you're looking for there, because they have professionals come in there as well as just John Q. Public sitting there and jamming it away. So I thought I'd throw that out there at you. You ever go to that Asheville Drum Circle?
I haven't in a long time, but yeah.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah.
It's worth seeing. It really is.
And how would you know that, Mel?
Well, because I go to it a lot myself. We'll pick that up another time too, because I think that it's one of the greatest treasures of Asheville we've got. I think it's time for you to jam up another music.
All right. Let's see. This song's called Until It's Over. Things don't look too good for the world anymore. There are people fighting all around. Diseases spread town to town, and no one seems to want to get along. That don't bother me. I'm fine alone. I'm fine alone. I don't feel so safe in the world anymore. Prices of everything have gotten so high. Spend all you make and you still can't get by. And I won't care if it burns to the ground. No, that's alright. That's just fine. Fine with me. Well, everything's okay until it's over. We don't have to wait very long. We are on our way to self-destruction. Should have known the ending all along. most of the country has forgotten about the Lord, and I wonder if he's just about had enough.
Well, you certainly have passion going in that music as well.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Keep working it. We're listening.
The song's called You Can't Take My Sunshine Away. Well, my head is spinning and my stomach's crawling, and I can't help feeling like I'm always falling in a hole, and the walls are 222 feet tall. Oh no, no. If I can't get out and there's no place I can run, no place to run on. Scared to death is how I'm feeling on the inside, just like a rabbit frozen in front of the headlights. I can't move, no, I can't even say goodbye. Oh no, no. If I don't feel better before long, Lord, I might as well just die. I might as well just die. Sick of work and I'm sick of playing. I'm sick of everybody standing in my way. I will do what I want and I will show you how it's done. I'm gonna show you how it's done. You can't take my sunshine. I'm gonna burn you on my way. On my way. See you flying and I'm right there behind you. If you look my way, boy, I might blind you. I'm a sun, and I'm gonna shine all day long. You can't take my sunshine. I'm gonna burn you on my way, on my way. You can't take my sunshine. I'm gonna burn you on my way, my way. You can't take my sunshine. I'm gonna burn you on my way.
That don't clear out a cloudy day. I don't know what will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. What you got next for us?
I'm just gonna jam a little.
How about a little jam, folks? I think this man's going to handle it. This is Chris Ride. what? You give great justification why there's such excellent music going on here in the Asheville area.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's good to have that kind of music. Wow. Sweet, sweet. I gotta say, that was sweet. And I gotta say something else to the public. You guys have any fundraisers going on and you need somebody to keep it alive and get it opened up,
Wait
this young guy can do it.
Yeah, we can't do one of those call to actions.
My apologies.
Well, no, that's okay. I mean, we just can't tell the public to do anything because some people think that they're too stupid and can't think for themselves.
Oh, I just wanted to promote this young guy. He's good.
I know.
Skills.
That's the thing about public access. We got to walk a fine line as to what we can say and can't say. But see, we forget that the people out there really aren't stupid. That they are really intelligent,
Point taken.
and that they can really find them if they just look on the search on the internet for Chris Rod and Reverb Nation. I do have that spelled right, Chris?
What?
REVERBRATION.
Yeah.
That's the correct spelling of it?
slash-
Yeah, but see, we can't have that other stuff in
my
behind
website.
it because that's that commercial stuff that we're not allowed to tell people.
Oh, 'cause that's
Yeah,
my
because see,
website.
we can't say, oh, go to this website, or you might be able to, or hey, if you want him to play, that's stuff that we can't do on public access. What we on public access can do is to show the public how great you are. So if you want to play another one, I'm going to shut my mouth.
I was jamming a little bit.
Well, I don't want you leaving without me thoroughly getting your contact information because I'm going to hook you up.
Thank you.
Got it.
There
Appreciate
you go. We can say that kind of stuff.
Got it. I'm a learning the lessons here. thank you. I mean, it really is amazing to watch the skill you have, but you also have that passion that flows through your performance that really makes it impressive. I think more than the TV can convey. So go for it. Wow. Well, Glow Lady, how do you think this is going so far, and what could we bring on here next?
I like I said, I listen by, my spirit guidance, and when I was driving and told to turn around and go back to this place, I don't ask why. I just listen. So I went back there thinking it was for one purpose, and then I like I said, I met Chris and his mother, and when I heard his music, it was like, wow, he blew me away. Like, I'm sure that he's blown a lot of people away. And I just had to ask him to, well, I didn't have to, but I like to have good people on my shows.
I really appreciate you letting me be on your show.
Well, I'm the one who's honored. It's like I'm the one who has that raw footage of you from way back when, before you become who. So yeah, I'm honored to have you on as a guest, and it would be really cool if you would write the music, because I think that you're gonna like I don't know if you will but we're going to educate the public on cannabis and hemp, the real truth on it, and that's what's going to be the theme of. Next week, Dr. Milton Bird will be a guest on Glow Lady, and we will be discussing medicinal marijuana and the benefits of, and like I had said earlier in it, the government has a patent on it. It's like, well, wait a minute, aren't they the ones who are saying that it's not worth investigating because it's not, yeah. So if you could write a song to go with that, you think that you could? I mean, just thinking about it, it's like, I mean, it's kind of like the Prohibition when race car came out of these mountains and they used to drive, the bootleg moonshine around. Mm-hmm. So it's like, can we have some kind of theme like that? Like, I mean, I love your music, so I can't really tell you how to do it, but.
Well, let's see. I see Bob Dylan meets Willie Nelson. I think you can work a jam with that?
Yeah.
I think you can too. Matter of fact, I'll talk to you about that later. We get this show going in the series on a regular basis, and we'll shoot for the moon and try to get Willie Nelson here with you and have a freeform jam. We'll work it. All right.
We have about, let me see, 10 more minutes. So,
with him jamming in the background, could I just talk a little bit about where we're wanting to head with our future shows?
That sounds cool.
Well, if you're willing to do a little background jamming, I want to talk about some of the things that we're looking at here. First off, my friends call me Dr. Milt, but I'm medical director for the North Carolina Cannabis Patients Network, and also there is an industrial hemp association that is in the formation right now for non-medical hemp, and I'm also on that board of directors. Talking about medical marijuana, pot, we'll call it that, cannabis therapy. That's the way I like to refer to it, because cannabis is how the American Medical Association has always looked at it, even before Prohibition, where the American Medical Association had recognized it as the #1 medicine that physicians used before Prohibition. And actually, it's the #1 medicine in the world when you go through medical history, which is over 4,000 years old, and the earliest documentations of it show it to be a medicine. And now we have learned in the last 20 years of research what's called the endocannabinoid system in the human body. There are 3 kinds of cannabis that actually goes on in this arena for the endocannabinoid system. The human body actually makes it. Wow, that's an impressive research area going on right now. And of course, everybody knows about the plant kingdom, the plant cannabis, marijuana, which has over 67 to 100 recognized cannabinoid chemicals of a synergy complex relationship that is in full research right now, as well as the pharmaceutical companies that are making synthetic THC. Yes, THC. the chemical that is psychoactive that's used in Marinol, Dronabinol, and some other chemical productions that are synthetically created by the pharmaceutical companies and are being used in medicines today. I'll use the example, Marinol, active THC, to help manage nausea and cancer. There's a lot of research out there. Matter of fact, over 1,500 articles are right now published in research around the world addressing the endocannabinoid system and the function of cannabis, cannabinoids, all in understanding the balance of health. We will be exploring this scientifically, sociologically, economically, and we talk about community-supported agriculture. The hemp industry is a very powerful building block for community-supported agriculture, community-supported cannabis agriculture, community-supported hemp agriculture. There's hours of discussion to bring that out when we're looking at sustainability, trying to figure out what is suitable in our community-supported agriculture that is sustainable and supportable by citizens, to see that their economy is stabilizing so every member of society is getting financially survivable. And that is enough to throw at you at this particular moment trying to open that door. We're looking at starting a series, a television series, addressing medical marijuana use, non-medical use of the cannabis plant known as hemp, and how our economies can benefit, our community-supported agricultures can benefit, how the human event can benefit from effectively applying the scientific knowledge, the historical facts that are mountains of evidence to look at its use, everything from hemp cloth to hemp rope to medical use of cannabis in its consumption and smoking and the medication edibles. And we've got about 5 minutes left in this show. So before just continuing on this, I want to thank you for taking the time to look and watch and hear the magnificence of Chris Rod. And we're going to let him play for just a few minutes before the end of this show. Thank you very much and enjoy the man playing. You know, I've go to the actual drum circle to enjoy the rhythm of life, and I also see that's where the human spirit comes to play. You've got that same energy. The rhythm of life and the human spirit loves to play. It's right here. I know I see that at the drum circle, and I'm seeing it right here in your magic. Working.
Thanks.
Glad to see it. Well, we've just got about a minute or two left here in the show. They say we've got 2 minutes, okay, and we're going to be wrapping it up here. Glow Lady, do you want to give us any input here?
Okay, there we go. Kelly M. Beard is hanging on the line, and you know what? I love his music. My audience knows that when I hear something good, I can't help myself. So I'm gonna just keep the music off of the DVD and let Chris roll us out until Kelly Beard comes up, and halfway in between Kelly Beard, you're gonna see that drum circle. And there's gonna be a lot of people jamming. So go ahead and I'll let you know when to cut it off. And thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Mammal's Waltz.
We've done it. That's it. I'm serious. You got a business card on you? Start making them.
I need to make.
Okay,
I'm in the
your
process of
contact.
getting a CD press and everything.
Okay. Okay. Hello, Asheville and beyond. This is Kelly M. Beard of Karmic Tools and Lunar Reflections. It is Friday, February 11th, 2011. So we are gathered for this week to go over the possibilities and the energy supporting you going forward. We had a lot of movement this week and last week. Next week it slows down all the way till Friday when we have the full moon in Leo and the sun moves into Pisces. So the next time we talk, it should be pretty interesting. For now, we're going to cover the Taurus first quarter moon is what we're experiencing right now. It is officially today. As the moon hits 29 degrees, it squares that 29 degrees full moon coming with Leo. So we're responding to the new moon, and we're preparing for the full moon at this in-between stage. Remember, the midpoints are really important. And the first quarter moon is usually when you get some action going. So how was everybody's week? I don't know, with all this movement of the planets being something slowed down and some things picked up. But I know everyone is really getting present to their resources and what they're working with and how they're moving forward, and that's what this energy brings up. This is the fixed signs, so all my babies that are Aquarius, Leo, or Taurus, Scorpio are being affected this Aquarius month. And certainly at every quarter of the moon as it moves through, think of the fixed signs as anchors, as the four corners that stabilize a base. And so anytime they're kicking, even if you're not one of those signs, you have access to some stabilizing energy and a way to organize your thoughts in a new way to create that container and sort of anchor it or make it stronger, strengthen it. So there's energy for all of that going on. And remember last week we got kind of on a roll, and so when we got to the end on the 9th, which was Wednesday, Venus linked up with Pluto, which is a big deal, and it happens every so often. So right now she's in Capricorn getting very, very practical. And, excuse me. Oh, I apologize. So when Venus hits Capricorn, along with Pluto, a lot of things deepen, okay? And Vesta, one of the sacred feminine asteroids, is there as well. That's deepening our dedication. So essentially, when Venus hits Capricorn, she wants to establish something solid and long-lasting and of true value and worth, okay? By your own definition, this is available for everyone, but it's about getting really practical about your values and priorities and directing your resources more consciously. And as she links up with Pluto, Pluto says, yeah, that's great. We're going to build something delicious, but what are you sacrificing? It wants to transform things. So the vibration of the whole week has felt a lot like building and then having something else completely disintegrate in one sense. And in another sense, it's having this ability to get everything new going on and support that and do the follow-up work that requires, while recognizing that certain old habits and responses are not going to work as well anymore. We're having to change some very basic 101 things, and this is akin to something I've been talking about for years, which is just that as we still have to eat and function and do these practical things, but we have to find a completely new way to do it. And so when I'm telling you to question your autopilot behavior, you really have to find a way that makes sense for you to start thinking about that. I'm trying to think of an example. Something will come to me. But I've had to alter a lot of practices, not that there was anything technically wrong with them, but it's due for an upgrade. It's due for us to start trying new things and experimenting in new ways. And this has to be based on what's important to you now, based on all that you've learned, let's say, in the last 6 months to a year. Okay, if we keep it really simple, the Aquarius new moon 6 months ago would have been August of last year. What did you put in place that is, assisting you with breaking patterns that no longer serve who you truly are or who you've become, okay? We all go through these stages of evolution and growth and expansion, and we come to these new levels of understanding and awareness about our own beings and about the beings around us and about how the world is, functioning at this point and how it's all connected. So we have a lot to work with in terms of really changing our lives at this juncture, okay? Because the whole point of Aquarius energy is to help us live more authentically. That's the whole point. The opposite of Aquarius is Leo. That's your authentic self. contributing to the Aquarius community. So again, even if you're not one of these signs, you have access to that energy twice a year to break out of patterns, to try being a new person, to try on new, masks and hats or whatever you want to call it for your personality and for what you're presenting to the world as representing who you are. That gets an infusion every year. And then certainly the 6-month mark is the midway point. So let's theoretically say that 6 months ago was the Aquarius full moon, so we had to release things that were blocking our authenticity. Now with this new moon, we got to seed that anew. Well, we get to this first quarter in Taurus, and Taurus says, yeah, but what are you building? How are you stabilizing it? How are you feeding it and nourishing it, okay, because Taurus's values start with food, sex, and money. These are the resources that Taurus responds to and works with really naturally. The rest of us have to, again, we have access to this couple of times a month, couple of times a year, every so often the big cycles repeat and that kind of thing. So we have some delicious energy supporting us because as Venus links up with Vesta and Pluto in Capricorn, okay, on one hand she's going to square Jupiter and Uranus hitting Aries, and on the other hand she's going to square Saturn in Libra. Now that Saturn in Libra, both of those squares are useful. They're very, very useful because they're helping us get our building blocks in place, for lack of a better way to put that. So in this context, she's trying to build something solid and long-lasting and based on the new values. Jupiter and Uranus are like, okay, but those new values have to be based on this new being that you're becoming or that's emerging from within you or the new project that's emerging around you or whatever you're contributing your energy to, whatever your number one priority is, whether it's personal or professional, you can channel this energy on your own behalf and really work with what is supported, which right now is complete independence. So a lot of themes that are coming up in business and a lot of small business owners and things are trying to simplify certain procedures so that they can be more in control and handle the workload as an individual being responsible, but also not needing a huge, massive team of experts to make any one thing function. Sometimes you're going to have to go out. Sometimes you are going to have to enlist the new team, and that's certainly supported. We've been talking about this. We have the whole year and a half or so to go where we are really collaborating with other people and this kind of thing. But the whole point is to be independent within that context. So you want to be bringing your piece to the group, but still very clear about what your piece is, and your piece needs to also be able to stand alone at certain times. So this is forcing us to define our terms. I found myself in different situations all week long having to really clarify who I am and what I want in specific ways, and then trying to get certain ideas out of your head and into form. I dealt with a lot of that this week for myself and for certain readings that I did, but it's on the table. As you're changing, your values and priorities are changing. What's important to you is shifting. And so how you're going to invest your resources of time, energy, and money, however you're going to invest that going forward, we're planting the seeds right now. Because anytime the planets link up like Venus, Pluto, and Vesta have, it's a conjunction, it's an activation, it's a new beginning. It's setting the tone, okay? Now, Venus moves around the zodiac and takes about 18 months to make it through. So it's going to be a little while before she hits Pluto and Capricorn again, but this is really helping us anchor the next leg of the journey. Well, 18 months seems to be the time frame we're working with this week because in addition to that, which I'm not done because we got to hit the Saturn and Libra thing, but sidebar, we have the North Node has shifted from Capricorn to Sag, so the vibration in general is going to change for everybody. So we want to pay attention to, okay, we laid those fundamental things, and we got some understanding, some wisdom, some recognition for what we're building in terms of our fundamentals. That's Cancer, Capricorn, home and work. How we take care of ourselves and how we contribute to the world has gone through its process. Now the nodes are a 19-year cycle, so we want to tune into that. If you've been around long enough to see a couple of those go by, then you should be able to connect with the pattern, okay? And the pattern is shifting from fundamentals into ideas. So theoretically, if we streamlined our fundamentals, then the story we're telling is going to change. So this next 18 months, as we deal with the Sag North Node, that means our path has to be based on truth. We just came out of the 18-month train boot camp that said our truth has to be based on the work we put in. We have to somehow manage that and be responsible for all of it. Now the story we tell, so think in terms of Capricorn and then Jupiter. We consolidated in the last 18 months. The next 18 months are going to be about expansion, and it's completely supported with all the new Aries energy coming in and all the new beginning energy that's kicking all across the board. There's a lot of that. So we want to use this week specifically, we still have a little orb of influence of this Venus in Capricorn hitting Saturn in Libra. They're in what's called mutual reception. So even though they're in a tough angle, which does create friction, it's a 90-degree angle. That's how you build anything in architecture. We need it to stabilize things. So it might be out of comfort zone into new territory, and it might not be as much fun as a lot of the other tasks that come with living your truth and purpose, but it has to be done. And so in this case, the wheels are greased. Let's put it that way. With the mutual reception, that means that Venus rules the sign that Saturn is in, which is Libra, and Saturn rules the sign that Venus is in, which is Capricorn. So that's the mutual reception. They're vibing. They're getting along just fine. Even though they're in a tough angle, this is time to grow. This is time to grow in your relationships and your responsibility for your own emotions and your own contribution to those relationships. Again, whether they're personal or professional is irrelevant. It's time for you to be responsible for what you're contributing across the board. And that's tough for some people because, you got to make up your mind. You got to choose. You got to make decisions, and you have to be able to stand on it and back up certain things, and that's tough. That's tough, and a lot of people have acquiesced or given away their power on one or many levels, given away their own authority to make choices for themselves. Or remember my thing: if you don't disagree, people assume you agree. So there's the little rub with not being responsible for yourself, because if you don't hold the structure, then the government will give you a structure. If you're not responsible for whatever you're creating, then the community around you is going to hand you something to do. And it happens on personal levels. I tease people all the time that by 30, I had been through one or two careers. And when it didn't, when things weren't jiving, I got pregnant because I didn't know who I hadn't made another decision to try another path. So the universe gave me a path. I was idle a little too long, and now I got the mother path. So after that, you go full circle through that little process and come out, and I'll have to define my terms. But you better believe I won't sleep on that again. So the next time we have an option of choosing a path, you want to be as clear about who you are and what you want. Again, the essence, because you don't know what the tangibles are going to be. You've got to tune into what you want to feel and how you want to move through your day and what kind of rhythm works for you. So when you're faced with these kind of life-changing decisions, that is where you want to start, with heart and soul. Okay, we've had all kinds of pressure for the last several years to get reconnected with our soul. We can no longer function at these superficial levels and not tend to the ugly stuff under the surface. If you don't tend to it, it will blow up in your face one way or another. So nobody likes that. Let's deal with it and let's clear it out, because we are in such a clean slate, new beginning territory. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it, no matter how hard or rank or disgusting or tough it is to face certain things about your life or about your choices, about your past, about your world, whatever it is. We're going to have to pick up our bed and walk. You got to suck it up and make a decision about what you are going to focus on. And we've talked about that. There's so much going on, and there's so much good stuff coming up, and there's so many global meditations and so much information and so many brilliant souls out there. This is what the whole Aquarian age is about. It's bringing technology and information and humanity together on grand scales. Well, that means we've got to hold the structure a different way. Rhythm and flow shift. Things change, and we have to be able to roll with that in some, in some comfortable way. And in these terms, we have a lot of support. So this week, I want you really focused as we move forward. The 14th and the 19th. When are we going to talk again? On the 18th, we're going to talk again. But this coming week, the Sun links up with Neptune in the last degrees of Aquarius before it links up with Chiron in the first degrees of Pisces. Okay, so there's going to be this little shift, but you got to keep in mind the Sun has an annual schedule. And so when it links up with the social or collective planets, which is Jupiter, Saturn, or the big boys out in the world, Chiron's in between them, and then Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, those guys, that's kicking off a one-year cycle. So if you are working on the liberation of your, who you are and what you want, then this is a good one-year goal to stick to set in place. And you want to keep in mind that Neptune's finishing up with Aquarius. In fact, I think I have something to share on that. As Neptune finishes this up, you got to remember Neptune has a 165-year cycle, and it spends 14 years in a sign. So for the last 14 years, essentially, we've been in Aquarius dealing with the humanity thing. Now that's going to shift to Pisces, which is a completely different dynamic. Okay, it's a completely different element. It's a completely different modality. It's a completely different way of operating and getting things done. But all is useful. All of it's relevant. and we just want to pay attention. So what do I have here? Brenda Brush is in Florida, so she has brendabrush.com, and she does 2 free updates a month if you want to check out her site. She says, Neptune is in Aquarius and has been for the last 13 years. Live in flow. Life is a dance, and you need to move with the music. The music is being played by the planetary movement. Next year, around this time, we will move into Neptune will move into Pisces for 14 years. Neptune will be in its own sign for the first time in 165 years. The sanctuary that is necessary for our well-being will be open. Okay, first we had to clarify some things with that Aquarian energy, but Pisces is going to bring up all new issues to deal with and to cleanse and to release for 165 years, and it's going to also provide a different kind of support, a different kind of energy to help you through. So Neptune will be in its own sign. The sanctuary is finally arriving. Not only necessary, it will be available. So that's the sanctuary. So it's not only necessary that we get this healing that's coming in with the Pisces energy, but it's going to be available for 14 years, so pace yourself. This is a long-term process. No matter where Neptune is in the cosmic dance, it always tells us to trust the process and keep dancing. The new moon in Aquarius, which we're still in the zone of right now, is hosting Neptune as it has every year for the last 13 years. So you want to think, again, the last new moon, the last sun connection, those are personal, inner and outer connections with the big boys, activates you. And then if you have anything, like I said, in the Leo, Aquarius, or Taurus, Scorpio signs, then it's activating you directly. The sun will join Neptune on the 17th, which is what we were just talking about. This is going to be the last little hit in Aquarius to start a new annual cycle. It's time for you to dream your future. The new moon in Aquarius is there. The sun reaches there. Neptune and Chiron at the end of Aquarius is there. Neptune dissolves obstacles. Okay, we're always talking about dissolving boundaries on this one, but I do want to put that out there, that when you need to dissolve an obstacle, Pisces, let go and let God, is the first stop, okay? But then you want to visualize Neptune's waters just dissolving whatever it is that's blocking your path and opening up to the higher good. So Neptune dissolves obstacles, and Chiron is the healer. So if we get some of these long-term 165-year boulders out of our path, perhaps Chiron can do some healing work and move us into this 8 years of Pisces, which is going to get everyone present to a whole new reality of, because once you're healed, reality shifts. You know, once certain things, the chapter's closed, it's closed. It's a new day. It's time to tell a new story, and you've got to keep it moving. What an interesting month this will be, with obstacles dissolving, and we will have tools to move forward. You just need to be willing. And it says the full moon on the 18th at 29 of Leo is going to help you open your heart and let go of the past. I love Brenda because she really just gets to the meat of things. So we have a lot of support in that regard, and we are trying to, again, think Venus, raise the bar, and Pluto deepens our commitment. So, again, this is the kind of comfort zone. A lot of us, me included at different times, have settled. We've settled for a certain standard of living. We've settled for a certain quality of relationship or relating to each other. We've settled. It's time to raise the bar. And so in raising the bar, we are going to be uncomfortable at the beginning, okay? It's only hard in the beginning. It's only taking that first step. It's only making the choice that you know needs to be made. And you've postponed this long. It's time to make that bad boy and get moving, because we are so supported for the forward movement and for the new beginning and for the new identity. All of that has been bubbling and brewing and moving us around and moving the world around to accommodate us in different ways and getting us to this next level. It's so important that we work with what's supported, and what's supported is getting out of your comfort zone and raising your standards. And that means a lot of times you're going to have to do it yourself. It's not available out in the world. It's got to come from within in terms of determining what you're going to do and making those choices. But then the outer work. Faith without works is dead. You've got to get to work after that. Once you've made the choice, what's the first step? And sometimes you want to map that out and get that going. And other times you want to just trust and follow your instincts. And right now, with all that Aries energy kicking, our instincts are really available for healing and cleansing and releasing any sticky icky that's covering up our ability to think on our feet. Because that's the other thing. It's going to be so rapid fire. Things are going to be coming so quickly that you're not going to have a lot of time to hem and haw over, oh, do I really want to do this or not? You got to be ready. okay? And there are serious opportunities presenting themselves because, again, if there's a need, the universe abhors a vacuum. If there's a need, it's going to get filled. So as the crumble happens on one side, socially and collectively, there's new energy coming up in that place. So if you want to contribute on those bigger levels, socially and collectively, then you got to be ready to seize the opportunities as they present themselves. So that means you, the individual, and whatever work or piece you're bringing to the table has to be tight. It has to be extremely organized, tight, and ready. Ready. Also, what we talked about last week, discipline and flexibility, both go together. I know it sounds kind of weird, but you need that discipline to have yourself together and that flexibility to say, okay, I've got all this in place, but when the new energy or the new information presents itself or the opportunity presents itself, you want to be flexible enough to tweak whatever piece needs to be tweaked to allow you to participate. So you can do this, but it's going to take you being as clear as possible within yourself. And like I said, with Chiron moving along and we've got the big boys are all shifting gears. That means social collective is shifting gears. That means you really have to anchor your individual personal stuff as well as you possibly can. Okay, you just do the best you can with what you've got. Now, the other activations this week specifically, we have, the sun gives us 2 activations of 2 New Year processes. The Venus squaring that Saturn, again, mutual reception. It's a tough angle, but it's going to move you. It's going to move you into new territory that's so juicy. That's on the 18th. So we have some access. Mercury's in Aquarius, and you want to think about this. Think about the last Mercury retrograde. Speaking of which, we had the call last night. So anyone that missed the Mercury retrograde for 2011 and wants the audio and activations, just email me directly, please. But Mercury led to this. Mercury had to change your mind before we could even get to this Venus, Pluto, and Vesta in Capricorn, okay? And it's leading up. February is really critical for making these decisions. So don't forget, we're in the gate of power for 6 whole weeks, from around February 1st to around March 20th. That's the 6 weeks I'm talking about. We have access to this gate, which is very, very juicy for anchoring our 4 corners. The fixed signs represent the gate of power. That's Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus, Scorpio. And so we have a little bit of something for everyone, but I did want to point out that we've already been in this process. November, December got the wheels turning about what you were going to do in the new year and how you were going to do it. And now these energies are coming along to support the movement, the actual building, the actual choices of moving forward. And so February is one of those critical choice points of the year. Really big, really important because, again, the life path shifts. North Node is shifting this month. Jupiter shifted into Aries, first time in 12 years. Mars hit Aquarius, which is a 2-year process. If anybody wants to see a pattern from 2009 to 2011, you want to think 2011 to 2013. If you got anything done in terms of liberating the truth of who you are, which is that Aquarian principle, then what do you want to liberate by the next 2 years? And what has to be in place as you move forward, 2011 to 2013, through this little 2012 corridor, okay? We know that we're already in it in terms of energetics and ascension processes and things like that. But you know that there's going to be this wave of energy that still is going to continue for the next couple of years. So we want to be able to ride that wave with a little bit more clarity and flexibility and agility. You want agile. You want to be able to respond to whatever's in front of you. So your prayer should be about strength and fortitude and clarity, okay? Just really, really being as clear as you possibly could. And this is going to be the choice point because when March comes, is action time. And like I said, all that Aries energy is not going to think so long and hard initially. So whatever you're deciding about what defines liberation for you or what's going to make you feel free in this space and clear in your own mind and heart, then those are the pieces you want to anchor right now so that you're ready for that new beginning as it whooshes in come springtime. And, just pay attention. There's a lot of energy for extreme focus and dedication, but if you're focused on the wrong thing, it's not really that good. So you want to pick what you're focusing on and be as dedicated as you possibly can to the top. I like to keep things in the top 3. What are the most important things that have to get done today, this week, this month, this year? And then once you're clear about what the biggest pieces are, you've got to start there because, again, there's so many distractions. There's so much energy swirling. There's so much information out there. There's so many things to do, new people to play with, new ideas are bubbling and brewing everywhere. I want to do it all, but I can't do it all. So I've had to prioritize, which is what's so juicy about Venus and Capricorn, because she gets us to our priorities of what's going to actually build something. And then Capricorn is all about the money and doing business in the world, and we are changing how we do business in the world. So right now, you've got to be as clear and clean as possible in whatever is important to you in terms of doing business, in terms of putting something out there and receiving something back, the exchange of energy, the flow of energy always has to be moving. The minute it's stagnant, the minute it gets stuck, it's blocking everyone, and that's no fun for anyone. So we want to open up, and we want to use this week to set some 1-year goals. You want to deal with some 6-month goals. Because, again, this new moon sets off a new year. New moon in Aquarius means a new liberation is already underway. That means 6 months from now, when we hit August of 2011, you're at the midpoint. And you want to be in a really good position by that time, centered in your Leo, self-love, knowing courage to be who you are and to be authentic with it, and to bring that to the table knowing that your unique piece is needed and wanted. It is. It absolutely is. But you've got to choose the right timing and the right place and the right people to play with, and some of that takes a little experimenting nowadays. We're all in new zones. We're new people, so it's rubbing some old friends the wrong way, but it's drawing in new friends. And you've got to keep that in mind. Again, as much as you're clearing out and releasing, for those of you that don't like the in-between stages, then you've got to find some way to get comfortable with it, because they're really juicy. They're very potent. That in-between the old and the new is the sweet spot. That's where a lot of juju gets planted, okay? You can't see it. It's not tangible necessarily, but it's there, and that's the really juicy part of that. And we're at the in-between. This gate of power is considered one of those. We're in between winter solstice and spring equinox. So you want to be real clear about what you started for the new year, for 2011, what was on your mind. And here we are in between that setting of the intention and the action that's coming at spring equinox. And you just got to know it's going to hit everybody one way or another. Again, maybe personally, maybe publicly, but you've got to be ready as you physically can. And then don't be upset. Surrender the rest. Just let go and let God, and know that you've done the work, you've laid the foundation, you've hopefully connected to your authentic self, and know who you are at least, even if it's hard to maneuver, and even if that new person doesn't quite fit in yet. That's the big deal about the Aquarian age. The outsiders are going to be the leaders now. We're not going to have this kind of exile anymore. The unique, different, odd thinkers are the ones that are going to have the creative solution. So we want to honor them. We might not understand them, and we might not necessarily always agree with them, but we have to honor them as the ones that are capable of thinking outside the box. Let them do their piece. That's a gift. Everybody can't do that. So we want to honor those things even if we don't understand them, and that goes across the board. We could do a whole call on just that. So anyway, if you missed the Mercury retrograde call for 2011 and you want to set some intentions for the entire year, because it is fire signs and it's going to get really delicious along the way, be in touch with me for that. Next month we're going to touch on that Uranus hitting Aries for 7 years. It's a 7-year cycle. I want to set some intentions for that, so if you guys want to join me for the free call then. And certainly you can email me for any kind of personal activations of some of the old calls, because if you're trying to catch up, that Mars retrograde through Leo is helping people figure out who they are and what they want, and Venus retrograded through Aries, activating a new identity. 18 months later, she retrograded in Scorpio, asking us how we're directing our power with that new identity. These other calls, Saturn in Libra is valid for 2 years. These are your support tools. So when you need it, you can go to these audios and articles and things to support you along the way in between Fridays. But otherwise, I guess I will see you next Friday, the 18th, for the full moon in Leo, and enjoy this ride. This week is going to be really interesting, and I hope you can stay tuned in a half an hour for the I Ching show. This is Kelly M. Beard of Karmic Tools and Lunar Reflections signing off. Everybody have a fantastic week. Thank you.